Hi everyone, I wanted to come on here and show you some of the souvenirs that we got while we were in London. We have a few different categories. We have some snacks, we have some books, and we also have a couple of things from our time at the Harry Potter studio tour, and then a special mention, I guess. So I'll start off with some of our food. First off, my husband and I each got a packet of digestives, and I got milk chocolate. He got the dark chocolate. These are so good. We originally tried a smaller sleeve, and we liked them so much that we had to pick up another pack. They are not too sweet, so easy, very easy to eat a ton of them if you're not paying attention. So if you go, don't let the name scare you. It doesn't mean that they help you go super, a lot to the bathroom. It's nothing like that. It's an original intention, but they are not that successful, which is great. Honestly, they are just such a wonderful treat to have. So we love these. I would recommend getting them. They come in a white chocolate too. So if you ever see them when you're in the store, if you're going there, grab a pack. The other thing I picked up was just some tea. I do like to drink my teas. While we have a lot of these in the United States, I just wanted some that were from the UK, you know? So I got a mix of a few of them, figured I'd give them a try, and the worst that can happen is that I'm just having some really delicious tea. So that was another little buy I got. Next, I'm going to go into books. So my friend and her husband went along with us, and she is a big reader, and I like to read too. So when we were in the bookstores, I tried to focus on books that were UK related. So first store we went to, bag's a little beat up, but first bookstore we went to was called Waterstones. I would equivalent it best to Barnes and Noble here in the United States. And from Waterstones, I got this book called The Essex Serpent by Sarah Perry. It just seemed like a really interesting read, historical fiction. Oh dear, it was called the best read from like there we go, the Waterstones Book of the Year 2016. So I didn't even notice that little detail until after I started to pick it up and read it, after I had purchased it. So I just felt really good about this buy here. Um, if you're interested, I'll read you a little bit of the back. But basically, it takes place in 1983 when our main character, Cora Seaborn's husband, dies. She's, navigating her life as a widow with much relief and sadness. So she's retreating to the countryside, and she hears this rumor about the Essex serpent, and she really wants to see if this is an undiscovered species. But she ends up getting involved with a William Ransom, who's the vicar, and that person thinks that the cure for hysteria lies in faith. Well, our main character Cora is convinced that science offers the answers. So it's an exploration about their relationship and how that goes out. So I haven't made it too far into the book, but it is pretty good so far. So that was one book I got. The next place we went to was, I'll show you the bookmark first. We went to Hatchard's. Hatchard's is an adorable bookstore. It just looks like an old-timey bookstore that is just so charming. The people there were lovely. If I had to pick one bookstore, it would be Hatchard's. I'm sure other people have their favorites, but Hatchard's was my personal favorite. And there, I picked up two books. I picked up The Revels, and I picked up Hamnet. Hamnet I picked up not just because the movie was coming out, but because I overheard one of the sales ladies talking about it to another customer. She was like, I'm not done with this book yet, but she's like, you would think it's this really devastating read because it's exploring the last week of a child's life. But she was like, it's such a good read that she's like, I'm having a hard time putting it down. So I was like, well, you know what? If it's a little bit of tragedy with a lot of growth, right up my alley. So I was like, you know what? I got to pick it up. And then if I really like it, maybe I'll watch the movie too. But that was one. And then The Rebels is another one by Stacey Thomas. And this one just seemed like a fun read. Another historical fiction. All of these books have been historical fiction. I'm not upset by that. It's not always a genre I would go for right away, but it seems to be grabbing my interest a lot recently. So this one is also 1645, probably around the same time as Hamnet. And this has to do with a playwright who is not involved with. I don't want to say like, oh, it's a relationship, but basically he gets involved with this witch hunter, and there's civil war going on between the Catholics and Protestants, rumors of witchcraft, and the main character here is hiding a dark secret. And so, does he speak out about this and be accused of being a witch, or does he save, or does he save himself by keeping himself a secret? So, this seems like a very fun read as well. All three books could be found at Hatchard's as well. I found the Essex Serpent immediately after walking in. So another good book to add to the shelf. Next, I'm going to go into some Harry Potter items. So if you don't want to support, I understand. You can skip this part. We got a couple of different places. There's one location in London proper, near Oxford Circus area, called Mina Lima. And when we showed up, there was a line to get in. And Mina Lima is a shop that features artwork from a couple of creators that worked on the movies. And the artwork in there was gorgeous. Unfortunately, it was also very expensive, even for prints. There was one print that I saw that was about the best equivalent of like 11 by 14, going for £200. I love to support art. I was just like, maybe not in the budget for me this year. So we did pick up this envelope from the store though, and it has a bunch of postcards in it. Let me see if I can get it open to show you. So it's just a bunch of postcards, and my husband and I figured that we can use these as decor in our house. We can just get them framed, and it would be a fun little thing to do. And this was like £12, so a lot better than paying £200 for a print. But if you are willing to invest in a piece, I would say give Mina Lima a look about, in case you want to see the name. It's right here. But yeah, so it was a good time to look around in there, even if you're just looking around. It was a fun time for sure. Ooh, watch me not get these back in. Oh, perfect. All right. Next, on to the studio tour. We went and got tea there. So when we scheduled our tea, they actually gave us poppers, crackers. They're these things that look like long candies, and when you pull on them, they make a loud snap. But then inside, normally there's some fun little trinkets in there. So um, our table of four, we each got one. It was random which pin you would get, but we did some trading, and I traded for the Hufflepuff because one of the guys on our trip was like, "Oh, I don't want to be Hufflepuff," and I was like, "I've been assigned it by other people to be on that one, so I don't mind." And then my husband traded for a Ravenclaw, which he is a Ravenclaw. I like to say I'm a Slytherin. Um, Everyone else says I'm a Hufflepuff. You know, do what you like. Ultimately, a house does not determine your worth, so don't let that bother you. Another thing I picked up was from the designers of Mina Lima, but was not from the store itself. This is just a pillowcase where you can insert a pillow into, and I just thought that this pattern is really nice. I really love seeing it every time we are out and about. So very cool. I picked it up. Um, One thing I will say about Mina Lima, if you choose to go to both this store and the Harry Potter tour, the Harry Potter tour will feature some of the Mina Lima merchandise, and it will be cheaper. We saw some of the prints, not all of them, which was sad, but we saw some of the prints at the Harry Potter studio tour that were also in the Mina Lima store. I think maybe they had some of their stock low, or they put their less performing stock into the Harry Potter studio tour. Not quite sure, but another thing is that this seems so trivial in a way, but we wanted some water. Um, you could pay a couple pounds more and get one that's reusable. I did. Um, and I used this throughout the rest of the trip after that. And normally I'll take a bottle with me, but this time I forgot. So I figured I'd get this one. It's made out of aluminum, so infinitely recyclable, which we love here. And I'll probably keep this until it gets dinged up and can't hold water anymore. And then I'll just recycle it. And our last thing from the Harry Potter studio tour is this tote bag. When I saw it, I was like, ooh, honey. I love tote bags. So this was a really nice color. I liked the shine. I have some of my dog's hair on this already. But I just like it. It kind of folds out, so you have a pretty decent base. It's not directly flat like some other ones are. So very happy about this. I'll use this when I go to the markets here in my town, and it'll be a good use. It'll be a good time. So there's that. And let's move on to our miscellaneous category. My second favorite place on the tour was the National Gallery, which basically features a lot of artwork from a lot of different uh, painters and whatnot. I wanted to take a piece home with me. I remember looking at this piece for a while. I was just like, you know what? You're coming home with me, my friend. You're coming home with me. This is a Vincent van Gogh. It's two crabs. There is some debate about whether it is two individual crabs or if it's one crab on its right side and then the other one flipped onto its back. So it could possibly be the same crab, but we're just not quite sure. But the colors in it are amazing. And so I was like, I'll bring this home, I'll frame it, hang it up. So That's this piece here. And then finally, last piece that I got is this cap. Um, we went to the Arsenal Stadium to tour, see what it's all about, and I looked around quite a bit and I didn't find a lot of merch that I really liked. However, I have been getting into caps a lot. And so I was like, you know what? I'll wear this. It's subtle enough. I like the color. It's not too overly red, which normally is a color I have to be careful with. So I will wear red, don't get me wrong, but this was a nice subtle reddish pink. And I said, you know what? This is coming home with me. I will definitely get wear out of this here in Florida. So that is my final piece. There is a ton to do when you're in the United Kingdom. There's a ton to do when you're in London. If it's me and you're asking for my recommendation, I would say to really take time to just kind of walk around, right? You can take the underground transit just about anywhere within the city, and we had a blast um, taking the subways there. But if you have the ability, like the physical ability, and you have the time to take a few minutes to walk from one location to another, you're going to end up really liking the city. It's just so gorgeous in a way that I didn't expect. And if you're only able to spend a couple days, um, I would recommend hitting up the big guns like, going to see Big Ben, going to see the National Gallery, going to see the British Museum, seeing the Buckingham Palace, Tower of London. If you have the ability, spend a little bit more time in the area, explore it. Maybe you can even adventure out and go north into the country. Gorgeous views out there. But anyway, that's it for today. Um, have a great day and bye.